Hey everyone, Mherex here, bringing you another video. It's the daily news, and there is a lot. There's a week-long contest going on, and the game is just jam-packed with, like, all the things. Um, Gosh, I don't even know where to start. So, let's just start. Titan Takeover, it's down to 3 energy now, like it was always going to be. They gave an extra week. So do your Titan Takeover. Make sure and check for the specific hype you want. Do your typical tier 5, 4, and 3 with your 3 energy if you can. If not, do 4 and 3, and then I guess try to start unlocking 4 with your faction. It's going to be way harder now, but you need to do this daily or you're going to miss out on a ton of hype rewards, right? So make sure you're doing it and getting the max reward chest. It's acro today, so you're using powerhouses. Okay, huge event going on, week long. There's a prize wall. I'll do a proper prize wall breakdown. There's new Vicaire gear. Has a bunch of blue gem damage, like 350%. So it's a big deal. Bunch of plates on there. And there's a faction event that goes with it. It's the Rotten Rumble contest, right? Um, yeah, I'm a little ways in, to be honest. On the free to play, I haven't really done that much. Just did some showdown, right? Basically. Um, you can see your showdown CSS characters are new Alexa, new Penta, Stephanie Vicaire. Penta again. This is damage. This is a win. Um, Zombie Cody, Zombie LA, Zombie Sammy, Zombie Tuso, and Zombie Punk. And then it's doing damage with each of the classes, and then getting some zombie damage as well, right? So you'll want to use some zombie people to take care of the classes if you don't have the CSS like I don't. This is the only stuff I will be able to get on this part, which is fine. It's not a big deal. It is what it is. There's a faction event as well, with some decent stuff in it along the way. You know, low quantity shards of people, but you know, it may recruit somebody for you. There's a bunch of chests in it, solo points, as you can see, a lot of stuff like that. And then if your faction gets into the bonus, lots and lots of these backpacks for the prize wall. And then so kind of chest plate at the end of it, not that great, to be honest. We do have the gold chest here, which is more shards or potentially a poster. You know, it's fine. Rewards is a bunch more prize wall currency, so you know, kind of important there as well, for the prize wall, right? So pretty standard week long. We've had a few like this. It'll be similar to the last one, you know, that we had. There's armory currency in it. This has Vicaire shards along the way, so you're gonna pick up a bunch of Vicaire shards, at least up to the gold chest. And then like how you do in Showdown and your faction does and stuff is gonna carry you a long way into the milestones, right? There's a bunch of close bonus ones, or doing pulls, of course. And then, you know, it's really backloaded with the currency, like always, right? Like the farther you go in the bonus, the more currency you're getting. Probably going to average about 175 from the bag, so you can kind of factor that in, right? And really, the bonus milestones are strictly about the prize wall currency. So this event is really kind of based on how far you get into the bonus. I do think, like, personally, this 10,000 coin one here, 7.68 million, isn't isn't that far past. It's 1.2 million, and then you get all of the extra armory currency. Um, you know, there's some big metal counts and stuff in there, or metal bits, whatever you want to call it. But really, that 10,000 armory currency is kind of the milestone I think worth targeting for a bonus. And then after that is you're really just kind of pushing if you to get a prize wall currency. But once you reach a certain point, you can't get enough unless you get really, really far to get more than one thing anyway, right? So just keep that in mind as you're going along. And this is impossible to do a breakdown for. There's so many different ways. One pull is worth 70,000 points, right? That means a 40 pull is worth 2.8 million points, for example. which would get you way past that milestone I just showed. You know what I mean? Like day one, you do the 40 pull, you're already like halfway through the milestones of the 3 day. I mean, it's a lot of bonus points for doing a pull. But the milestones are also a long way away too. So, keep that in mind, like I said. Um, what else? We have the it's Flash Feud Week. So feud prep is going on. So we got feud prep going on. You got the faction thing going on. All the weekly tours have dropped, right? But for events, it's basically your standard weekly faction event, and then these two different events that run 4 days, right? So that's kind of it for your events, along with the talent up. Now, when you get to the tours page, don't freak out. It's easy to do. Do one thing at a time, and it's not quite as bad. But it's pretty rough. There's 2 days for the Black Rot tour, so you don't need to do it today. But if you can, great. You got all week for Victory Tours and Seamus Tour. Don't need to worry about those. There's an Energy Tour, but you got 4 days for that, so you don't need to worry about that. So even though there's all this new stuff to hear, technically none of it you have to worry about today. But of them, the Black Rot is the one that's got the biggest expiring time. Now we're going to see a bunch of Rotten Rumble tours, but again, 4 days, so none have to be done today. So these you can kind of put on the back burner. They're going to drop more tours every day, though, so you don't want to fall behind. But because today's so busy, I wouldn't worry really about these ones today. Your CSS is Zombie Sammy on this one, right? It's male or female, but CSS is Zombie Sammy. Then you got the Rotten Rumble here, where you need new Penta or new Bliss. It just gives you a bunch of extra, right? 1,250 of these if they're 6-star gold for new Penta, new Bliss. And then it's like some tokens and whatnot. It's or maybe it's only 6-star bronze, so you might not need a gold. I'm not 100% sure. So really, it's not a big deal, except for these past two, far two, because they're worth 1,250. Again, no rush there. And then Penta shards in the Rotten Steel Cage tour. You can use props and that kind of stuff. Zombie Sammy again, the CSS, but you don't need him for the Penta shards. There's 50 here, and I think there's 20 here, or 30. 30. So 80 total shards available today. I would assume there'll be like 80 every day that these drop. Not that they'll drop every day. There's a decent amount of boosts. Of course, you can't use entourage, straps, all that stuff. But you get green gem damage, multiply damage, and stuff like that. It's okay. It's not amazing. Voldemort tour, but you can use props. The nice thing too, Uso doesn't use his moves right, so you can survive pretty well. Today's not a hard one for that. Again, this one you got 4 days on just like these, so not high impact. All of the new weekly ones dropped. Again, no rush. You have all week. But the Showboat one, your CSS is Zombie Kane. He's the backstage pass guy. Then you have Zombie Cody on this one. And finally, this one is Michelle McCool, right? Just randomly her thrown in, and then your champ stuff. So all week on that. So again, you can kind of ignore that today, right? Running recap, no rush. That's all month. Showdown is important. You only get 4 energy. And I believe the energy refill time is 2 hours. So you do want to check every 8 hours after using your energy. So you want to play literally right before bed and right when you wake up to try and maximize that. The tasks look like they're a little bit easier as far as kind of relative to 3 days, but 4 energy is not very much. I don't know how the energy is going to feel. I'll talk to you by the end of it. Don't get FOMO'd at the start, but there is kind of a big deal. 40 pulls 6 million points in the top league for first. 18 to 22 is 6 million points, and we've regressed. No pulls for those leagues. Sorry, guys. You just get hosed, and then again we had a little bit better here, and then we regressed again. So some solo points, but no pulls for any of the lower leagues. Again, I don't get why a few pulls wouldn't hurt them. Doesn't really make sense to me. but it is what it is, right? So your top bracket, you can get up to 40 pulls and 6 million points. So kind of important there. This bracket is kind of lame. What you can get, right? It's up to 1.84 million points, which is good, right? But it's still not like, I don't know. I don't like it that they do it that way. It is what it is, though. So there's that. Um, right. So we covered Showdown. Now here's where you got all kinds of stuff going on. Coagulation Tour Part 1. They changed this so daily. Um, you get the top 50 get a plate chest that can be the X break plate, any of the colors. It's RNG, so top 50 players in the Stip Tour get a plate that you can pull any one of the colors, including the rainbow. No guarantee. And then the next 50 get kind of a lame chest with just the zombie plates. So none of the new ones, right? So much less plate. They're giving that reward out daily, but they're not giving out any of the premium 500% at all. It looks like. So this is on a 24-hour timer. So each day they're gonna have a different thing. Today is green gems, with zombies, right? So when you go in here, your rules are gonna be down here. Destroy green gems; they're worth a bunch. Your enforcer, of course, gives you a lot more points. If you have Sammy, you double that. So really, you want to make as many green gems as possible. You go in here, and it has to be a zombie. You filter your green gems, and then just pick your best green gem chucker, and that's who you're gonna use, right? You can rebuy and get 70,000 currency with in-game cash for the event that's going on. So you can do that. And then assuming you unlock hard, you can rebuy and get another one of these chests with a small quantity of shards if you so choose. These also, though, feed the faction event. So it's worth rebuying if you have extra cash just to feed the faction event. And this one gives you 750 backpacks, so you want to rebuy this one if you can, just for the backpack currency, right? Which we'll get to that Prizewall in a little bit. So that's going on. So there's a lot going on. Let's see. I'm getting pretty close to getting my first feud promoter. A couple days and I'll have Brett there on this account. So yeah, that's kind of cool. And we'll take these. You can see some props in here, including these mega ones, Super MP, Yellow Thief sort of thing. So find that useful, right? Okay. So yeah, make sure and do that. Speed to her, so make sure and do that. By the time you see this, you have almost no time left for this. Normal one you want to do, because it pays out a bunch of faction points, 44,000. So make sure you do that. And you can rebuy Hell Mode, which does give you extra currency for the zombie hype loot coin, 6,000, but it's 600 in-game currency. I can't afford it on the free-to-play, so can't get it. La shame. So yeah, that's your tours. There's a lot there, right? A lot of there. All right, let's look at the Prizewall. So the Vicaire gear is the La Primera 2024 Halloween Havoc gear. It's like 350 blue gem damage, right? Which is crazy on her. Then you get a ton of awesome plates all at 30k. The new Eternal Bliss plate, the Rainbow Explosion, Rainbow Crossfire, Rainbow Flurries, Frankie the Parrot, Ring of Royalty, Ministry, Viscera, and then you jump your next tier down with the color-specific cross-break plates. I've done a very extensive plate breakdown video on the cross breaks. You can see where I like some of these and all of that and that. Same price range. You get the Kamala plate, Haku plate, Kofi plate. Those are move damage ones. And then you move down here and you get a LA Bite, which is meh. Rainbow Boss Man, which I do like. Rainbow Transfusion. I like that they're rainbows, I should say. You got a Botch Slap, Total Silence, right? So those are really nice. And then you get some of the zombie ones in here, a couple of them. And some moment tokens. This is like the Haku Hogan one, SummerSlam, the New Day and Uso one here, right? Ministry of Darkness one. got, you know, decent amount of moments. Then you got some shard options too, some fairly high quantities on these few, right? And some of these last maybe kind of a chance to recruit them. But I think like this prize wall, generally your focus should probably be the plates if you get to that range. Potentially the La Primera gear, you know, if you don't maybe have some of the other stuff to run her. But I'll do a proper prize wall breakdown. So that's your prize wall. Ton of good stuff. 24 hours on this prize wall. If you're wondering what my free to play got and took, I took this, which is 28,000. I had like 31,200, something like that. Pulled 21,000 from my faction bag, maybe a little more than 31,000. I got these two universals, and then I got Sammy honorarius at 6-star bronze. So anyway, that's 24 hours on that. With the last 900, I'm sure I'll just use, I mean, can't really get much, so maybe get some coin. So that's where that's at, right? So like I said, a ton going on. As far as, let's double check, where am I at for Bone Breaker? Getting close-ish. 600 or 527 shards away, not too bad. Mherex has recruited. And then Penta, basically 1,200 shards away. Not terrible. Mherex will recruit after he maxes the talent up. So Mherex will recruit today or tomorrow, right? Penta. So that's where the two accounts are at on those shards with 2 weeks left. And let's check out the offer review. There's double loot. So this could potentially be interesting. You have Rotten Rumble and Vacarized loot. So some potential possibly here. There's also this Brain Rot loot special. If you buy it twice, it amounts to a mega. So $40 for a 40 pull. It's $1 a pull, and it's $40 for a mega. That's 2.8 million solo contest points. You can kind of do the math there if it'll be worth it to you when we look at the loot and stuff. A bunch of Sammy shards with 250 backpacks and 7 pulls. It's not bad if this recruits Sammy for you. I think it's pretty good. 6-star silver Brett. I do like this one. $14.99 with 5 pulls. So I like that one. Then you get a starter pack. No rush to buy it, but you know, 70,000, 2 pulls, $5. Not bad. 150,000 currency, 3 pulls, $7. It's not too bad. They're selling the energy for the showdown with nothing good with it. So you're not getting good value on buying the energy. It's just buying it. Econ packs. I hate these. Really hate these packs. Don't encourage that. Buy on the portal, of course. It's, I guess, better than no bonus, but I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a ton of offers this week flooding in. And don't buy it singly, buy the doubles. Backstage pass, Bonebreaker, Kane. Kane's a useful-ish coach. Some other stuff, you get a bunch of pulls and that sort of thing. So yeah, I think the backstage pass is good value. Don't like hype currency. Boo. Yeah, go ahead and make sure you claim your marquee tickets. Those be free, 10 every week. And let's check the loot. So let's check the vacarized loot first. It's so basically it's your kind of your chance. They don't do this often. When you selling a bunch of potential shards other than release week. So this might, if you don't have Vicaire and you're a Vicaire mark and you like her and she's really good, I mean, she's very good in the game. I'm personally a fan of the card in the game for sure. 55 pull gives you 1 guaranteed featured, which is 50 to 2,500 shards. I would imagine you're probably going to average like 100-ish. You hit mega rare, 25 to 45, you're going to mostly get common 5 to 20 shards, but you know, at 55 I might imagine it's probably worth 200 to 300 shards ish, potentially in the vacarized loot. So there's that. With the double, it may be worth it to you. And then you look at the Rotten Rumble, which has the chance of pulling Vicaire with the gear, Bliss with the gear. Like I said, there would be a lot better chances for newer zombies. And this one kind of ends up that way. 10% featured rate. So on a 40 pull, You should get 4 featured potentially besides the guaranteed, but it's very diluted, so don't get excited. But a lot of potentially good stuff in here, right? These are all pretty solid, and then it's going to start to drastically reduce as we go down, but there's just a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot of stuff, right? Super rare is kind of, you got a little bit of bait there with Vicaire in there, and then just a lot of nothing really super exciting, as you can see. And then common, some more bait, and then a bunch of not super exciting stuff in the comments. So this though is feeding an event. It's a double loot. You're gonna get a bunch of guaranteed Vicaire shards. So I don't think this is the worst time, right, to do it with the double dip. Who knows if they come out with a triple dip on something like this? This could easily be a week maybe where they drop some Screamium stuff as well. But you do know the double loot, the one loot, the 40 pulls feeds the big event going on, which is worth 2.8 million points. So there's that. Chance to get some other stuff. Don't love it, don't hate it, right? Kind of thing. Week 4 loot is also going on. This is the standard weekly loot, but this time it's Vicaire, and Tuso in the top slot, McCool and Cody in the mid slot, and then you got in the common slot, you're this kind of thing again, right? So I talk about it all the time. It's not a great loot. It just is what it is, right? If you get something great, but like this is not a loot that you particularly want to spend on unless it's feeding something important to you or you're getting a guaranteed, right? I will remind everyone there's plenty of time in this loot. You don't really need to rush as far as the double combo. They do have it on a 24-hour cooldown and the 40 pull. So they are FOMOing you with these offers. Basically all of the offers are essentially $1 a pull, so they're pretty decent that way, right? But it's kind of up to you. Keep in mind you only have a chance to get bliss as far as the new zombies. No bliss shards in this, so if your goal this month is the new zombies, this is still not the loot for you probably. But if you want to get Vicaire, you want to get farther in this event, you want stuff for the prize wall, then maybe it's not the worst. But that again is kind of up to you. And do keep in mind, this is a crap ton of currency to get here. You're going to have to go fairly deep to get to these spots, right? Lots going to depend on your faction. Lots going to depend on your solo ranking in showdowns and all the other events and how much CSS bonus stuff you have. So a lot going on, like a ton going on, and there is stuff you have to do. You have to do your today. Let's just kind of recap it because there's so much going on. The 24-hour stuff you have to do is do as much showdown as you can, burn up your energy, do all that, blah, blah, blah. Beyond that, you have the special stip tour and you have the speed tour. So that's 2 different stips that you need to do. Neither take super long. So there's that. As far as the coagulation for the green, taker is probably the best to generate green gems, right? But anyone that does generate greens is going to be your go-to. And zombies are required. So yeah. But zombie dom and then acro taker, probably 2 of the better ones. I personally think acro taker is probably the best. But I didn't look real deep into it before I ran them on Mherex. I just used taker. If people are going to ask because of that. So yes, that is using acro taker, by the way. So 24 on that, and then your speed 2 or 24. It's the double 2.5 value, so definitely do that. It's just it destroys the most, so it's no big deal. Just get enough to get it. No stress. It's super fast. Just get it done, and then you do these right because this is super important for your hype currency, which you absolutely need. So that's the really important stuff. And then there's a few offers if you're a spender and you care about them that are on a 24-hour timer. Other than that, it looks worse than it is. So just start doing some of the 24-hour stuff and then you'll feel less stressed. Initially, I was kind of overwhelmed. And I just started doing a couple of the 24-hour things, and now I'm like, okay, it's really not that bad. There's just so much new stuff, but most of it doesn't matter today. Get the stuff done that's important, and then if you have time, feel like it, move on to the other stuff, right? So just focus on your stip tours, your showdown, and your titan, and it should be pretty okay. So let me know what you think in the comments. Hopefully you enjoyed today's daily news. Hopefully you're enjoying week 4 of zombies. And I hope you had a good weekend. I'm not sure. I'm kind of still in like mini vacation mode. I didn't post any content yesterday. I don't know if I'll post anything besides the news today. Actually, I had a hard time doing this because I'm feeling super lazy. So I'm glad I did it because I feel good now that I did it. But I don't know. Tomorrow I'll probably be back grinding out a bunch more content for you guys to watch. If there's something specific you want to see, toss it in the comments, right? I always like hearing ideas. No guarantee I'll do it, but I do like hearing it and seeing what you guys might be interested in. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. Remember to like, subscribe, and share because that really helps me out. And good luck out there. Yeah. Do it. Do it, man.